You are not burned out. You are dysregulated. And once you understand the difference, everything about the last decade of your life will start to make a different kind of sense. I'm Dr. Nagin Rajaipur. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. And in the next few minutes, I am going to explain something most of my colleagues won't. If you are exhausted in a way that rest doesn't fix, if your decisions feel heavier than they used to, if your body reacts to good news the same way it reacts to bad news, you do not have a mindset problem. You do not have a discipline problem. You have a physiology problem. And no strategy in the world is going to fix it until you address this at the root. This is a framework, not medical advice, not a treatment plan, an educational lens to help you look at your life more accurately. Let's begin. Before I give you the framework, I want to give you the language. There are 3 signals that tell you your problem is not a strategy problem. It's a physiology problem wearing a business costume. Signal 1, decisions feel heavier than they used to. The pricing call that took you 5 minutes a year ago now keeps you awake for 5 days. The hire that you would have made on instinct is now a spreadsheet with 16 tabs. The stakes have not changed. Your capacity to hold them has. That is because chronic cortisol and chronic adrenaline disarm the prefrontal cortex. That is the part of your brain you need most as an operator, an executive, and a builder. And when it is offline, no amount of grit, planning, or coaching brings it back. Signal 2, recovery stops recovering you. Weekends do not reset you anymore. Vacations do not reset you anymore. You sleep for 8 hours and wake up flat. This is not a sleep hygiene problem. This is not laziness. This is a nervous system that has forgotten how to tell the difference between rest and shutdown. And the body cannot restore itself in shutdown. It can only survive there. Signal 3, your body responds to opportunity the same way it responds to a threat. The partnership offer you've been waiting for lands in your inbox and your heart races, your gut tightens, you lose sleep. Physiologically, it is indistinguishable from an IRS letter. And when your body cannot tell celebration from crisis, you start making yourself smaller. You hire defensively out of fear rather than vision. You cling to systems that worked yesterday because your body cannot tolerate the uncertainty of new ones. You mistake caution for wisdom. You become a smaller operator than you actually are. If any of those landed, and for most of you watching this, more than one did, this next part is for you. I know all of this because I lived it. At what looked from the outside like the peak of my career, my body shut down. I had just finished my first year of medical residency. I had made it through a divorce and a custody battle. I had gotten to the other side of medical school and the hardest year of clinical training. Every external metric said I had made it, and my nervous system collapsed. I had to take time off from the life I had spent over a decade building. And at the time, I did not have the language for what was happening to me. I do now. I went through years of therapy, medication, TMS, psychedelic assisted therapy. I studied psychiatry, psychology, biohacking, breathwork, every emerging modality I could find that was compliance safe for a physician to explore. I became my own first patient before I ever became a better physician. What I discovered is that most of what we call burnout, anxiety, brain fog, and behavioral collapse in high functioning people is not psychological. It is physiological, wearing a psychological costume. And it does not respond to top-down interventions until you stabilize the system underneath it. So I built one, the E3 method, 3 layers, sequence deliberately because the sequence is the medicine. Layer 1, elevate, nervous system regulation, the foundation underneath everything else you're trying to build. Here's the diagnostic question. Can your body tell the difference between rest and shutdown? Rest is restoration. Shutdown is freeze. If you relax by drinking, scrolling, or numbing, that is not rest. That is shutdown. If you wake up more tired than when you went to bed, that is shutdown. If you cannot sit in silence without a device, if boredom feels dangerous, your parasympathetic nervous system has been offline for so long that your body has forgotten how to be safe. The work at this layer is not motivational. It is somatic. It is body-based. Breath work, slow exhale training, polyvagal informed practices, cold exposure done correctly, interventions that train the vagus nerve to come back online. The specifics belong in a conversation with a qualified provider who knows your history. What I can tell you as a physician is this: without stability at this layer, no intervention above it holds. You can take the supplements, hire the coach, build the morning routine. If your nervous system is in chronic threat, none of it lands. Layer 2, Embody, biological optimization, the structure of the body the operator lives in. Diagnostic question: are you trying to outwork a body that is biochemically working against you? Because the chronic stress from layer 1 does not stay in the nervous system, it bleeds out. It raises cortisol, raises adrenaline, which raises blood pressure, blood sugar, insulin resistance. It causes weight that does not respond to lifestyle changes. It tanks mood, memory, and sex hormones. And it disarms your prefrontal cortex. Again, so decisions feel heavier and heavier over time. All of this has clinical solutions. Sleep architecture can be rebuilt. Hormones can be measured and optimized within evidence-informed protocols. Inflammation can be quantified and reduced. Metabolism can be evaluated at a level most standard primary care visits do not have time for. This is the work my telehealth practice, Vida Region Medical, is built around. But even if you're not going to work with us, the principle applies. Find a physician who's trained to treat the operator, not just the symptom. That kind of care exists. You have to seek it out. Layer 3, evolve. Identity integration, the behavioral architecture of who you are once the body comes back online. Diagnostic question: are you running new strategies through an older version of yourself? Because this is where most personal development lives, and it cannot work until the layers below are stable. The new business model only works if you become the operator who can run it. The company only works if you become the leader who can hold it. The relationship only works if you become the person who can receive it. New strategies through an old identity means the strategies do not stick. You revert to what your nervous system already trusts. Evolve is the slow, structured work of noticing which behaviors belong to the old version of you and letting them go without immediately replacing them with panic. It is where the resurrection algorithm lives, the framework I co-authored with Brian Tracy and Medhat Zaki for rebuilding identity after collapse. You are not broken, you are patterned, and the pattern can change, but only once the foundation is stable enough to hold a different one. Here is what Monday morning looks like. For Elevate, 5 minutes of nervous system work before you touch your phone. Every morning, not for productivity, but to bring your body online before you make decisions in it. Box breathing, slow exhale work, cold water on the face. Pick one, not for a week, for 30 days. For Embody, one root cause workup this month: sleep, hormones, inflammation. Pick the loudest signal in your body right now and address that one. Do not try to fix everything at once. Fix the one thing your body's shouting the loudest about. For Evolve, identify one behavior you keep doing because it built the last version of you. Cold emailing at 11 p.m., saying yes to every coffee, manually doing what your team should do. Stop this week. Not phase out, just stop. Notice what comes up in your body when you do not do it. That is the data. One thing per layer, 30 days. Measure what changes. That is the start. I want to leave you with the question I leave every room with. How long have you been running on a body that does not feel safe? You do not have to answer out loud. Just please do not pretend you didn't hear it. You are not broken. You are patterned, and the pattern can change. If this framework resonated, the book is The Resurrection Algorithm. My practice is Vita Region Medical, and I share more of this work every week on Instagram at Dr. Negin R. Thank you for being here.